wired differently. Some of us speak with our words, some with our hands, some with pictures, some with silence. We all communicate differently. Embracing the human spectrum is a journey into the lives and voices of neurodivergent individuals, thinkers, dreamers, creators, each with their own rhythm, their own brilliance. Through honest conversations, stories, and shared moments, this series celebrates neurodiversity, not as a label, but as a part of what makes us beautifully human. Listen, learn, and embrace the human spectrum.
हाँ समझ गए बच्चों, समझ गए। हाँ 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 अरे क्या हो रहा है? अरे मैंने क्या हो रहा है बेबी? अरे भैया सबके सब आ जाओ, सबके सब। हाँ हाँ सबके सब आ जाओ। अरे 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 चीकू, हाँ कैमरे में आ गए, कैमरे में। अरे भैया हाँ हाँ सबके सब आ जाओ। कितने बच्चे? 6-7। अरे संभालो बच्चों, संभालो। हाँ हाँ मैं 10 आते तब तो पूरा नहीं पड़ेंगे। अरे भाई Good morning everyone, my name is Kabir Harish Nair. I'm a 19-year-old college student who is moderately autistic. I'm pursuing Bachelor of Arts and my main subjects are psychology and English, and as by the subjects you can infer, I have a passion towards becoming an author, and I aspire to become an author and a psychologist as well. Thank you very much. My brightest North Star, therefore my guiding principles and vision is basically to have a moral life, to be moral as much as possible while also balancing it with practicality, because at times morals can be impractical to follow, but still at a heart they tend to try your best to strive to be as good as possible, to be good in my skills like writing, my studies as a psychologist, and many other things, to basically give the best and be humble as much as possible. That is basically my guiding star, my North Star. To me, success means to basically keep self-improving and not to compare yourself necessarily to others. Like at times it can actually be a good thing in moderation to compare yourselves, but in a healthy manner so as to push yourself to be better. But at the end, true success is to be your own best form, comparing how you are right now to how you were before. Like let's say if I can read 10 pages now of a book consistently per half an hour, and before I could read only 2 pages. So basically to keep striving to be the best person you can be, and to also keep self-reflecting. That's mainly the success one means to be. Yes, the more material factors like money, house, those are motivating factors. I'm not gonna lie and be ultra altruistic person but at the end the core, the matter is that morals and a person's integrity matters more, and that definition has more so remained the same. If anything, I've become more practical, though perhaps to give money and family matters more importance a bit, but otherwise at core principles and morals and self-improvement are the definition of true success for me, and it has relatively remained the same over the years. What's something people often misunderstand about me? So this depends from various people. I don't think there have been major misunderstandings so far, but perhaps the most likely thing that people can misunderstand about me is that I am a bit too rational and a bit too moral, in the sense that like I'm super obstinate on my morals, that I do not think for other side, because I have been stern on my stance on a lot of things, like I do not condone smoking or these activities, but as I've grown over the years, I understand the other side. Like, let's say that another person smokes. So, what's the reason behind that? What conditions shape them? Peer pressure, poor in the poor upbringing, in poor conditions, something like that. Many other conditions can be there. So, I've learned to think for the other side. But at the end, my motto is that understandable does not always equal to justifiable. So, I do have a firm stance on morals, but also I try to remain as much as empathetic as possible. Though at times my rationality does overshadow my emotions, people can often misunderstand that I don't feel or that I don't care. I'm nonchalant, perhaps, but I definitely care less in the sense that I don't let my emotions dictate my thinking too much. But I know, yes, I definitely center my life and my vision towards my models and my goals. But I do have emotions, and I just don't express them that much, and that is something people can misunderstand about me. So yes. What unspoken rule has I have found unnecessary or strange? I'm not sure it's as strange, but it's definitely unnecessary, and at times it can even be a bit sabotaging. So it's basically like you always have to respect or listen to the elders. Now, on surface, it's a really good principle. You should try to respect your elders as much as possible, listen to them as much as possible. They have the experience. But on certain occasions, especially when it becomes like a recurring pattern, it's one, and not talking about isolated incidents with the people in colony and their old ways of thinking at times. Not everyone, but certain people are really stuck in the old ways of thinking, and I respect their opinions. Obviously, I don't mean to step over anyone's own beliefs, but the thing is that when they commit something wrong, then they try to justify that, oh, you are young, we are the elder, you should listen to us. Like, this I'm not sure how common this rule is in the West, but I definitely have seen this a lot in Asian traditions, and I also understand why they can think like that at times. Like, generational trauma can be there, because in the old times, especially in India, but not limited to India, of course, life was harder, so the main objective was to survive. So even if it did that, that was a big thing. So their beliefs can carry on to their judgment of current situation where it's not as harsh. But still, if that's the case, then I think the rule that we should always listen to elders should be challenged. On the other hand, it's also a bit unfortunate that when the elders do say something right, the over trend of a rebellion and like that can be also like too much, because then certain teenagers just rebel for the sake of it, thinking that all rules are just bad, even though certain rules are absolutely necessary. So yes, this kind of strange rule of always listening to elders is kind of found strange, but it also gives way to unnecessary rebellion in society of youth. How has my neurodivergence helped me form meaningful relationships? Okay, so it's not something extra particular. It's as I stated, my rational beliefs at a lot of time, like my hyper rationality, while it can serve as a challenge at times to like understand the other side. With practice, as I've learned to be practice empathy, with a healthy balance of empathy, of using emotions, and also using the rational beliefs, which is my forte. I can be the one to mediate things in a relationship. I can be the one to understand other. It can be hard to comfort people at times, but it's also helpful to make rational decisions rather than decisions in the heat of the moment in a relationship. So that is the main thing which has helped me from my neurodivergence, which has helped me for meaningful relationships. Nothing special otherwise. This one is a relatively short answer. How do I recharge after masking social overload? So I don't feel like masking in particular, because I have been usually my own self in most places. But I definitely talk about social overload because let's say there are events, I can get a bit exhausted in the sense that I have to socially interact, even if I remain relatively quiet. I just go at home or like find a place, I find something to eat or just drink, and or at times just sit there and like relax and like stare in the space thinking about other things and just relax. Just let my mind rest instead of focusing on the social interactions and to maintain the social norms. So that's relatively the things I do to recharge after social overload and masking, or to maybe write something, but that's really about it. For me, rest or self-care is really simple. Just keep journaling your thoughts, keep in tune with your own belief, your own self, and try not to overwork while also balancing it with work and to also ensure you don't slack off. Um, Rest in any specific routines, just spend time with my dogs and follow my hobbies and works, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing specific. Maybe have a cup of tea or coffee after a exhausting day, or I don't have especially a glass of milk mixed with honey and turmeric at night, but that's really it. What does safe space mean to me? It's a really simple concept of people who are willing to listen to the others, despite the diversity or any background they come from. They can have their own differences. Obviously, we all are humans, and we all will have some different beliefs. It's inevitable, but we should be tolerant. Like a key feature of democracy, a good democracy is to be tolerant of the other side. Just like that, in a safe space, people should be tolerant of others' beliefs. Try to be as much empathetic as possible, but also have certain strong morals which they should abide by, and also be willing to have their beliefs challenged in order, because they could be wrong. Everyone can be wrong at some point in time. They are wrong at some point in time. Everyone, in some regards, that's how we make mistakes and we grow from it. People should be willing to grow, and most importantly, there should be a sense of fraternity, or at least a sense of friendliness in the safe space, or at least respect. That's what it is. uh, what's one ordinary thing that feels like a big win in my world? Simply to empathize with others, because it can be hard to empathize with others, especially when my thought reasoning is usually dictated by logic more so than empathy. Inherently, I tend to think most of logical situations like, why is not someone doing this or that, when there can be many reasons behind it, motivations which make them act the way they do. Not always justifiable, but still, I think it's important for me to empathize with others, especially to be a psychologist. So even when I practice basic empathy, I think it's a big win in my life and in my world. Who has had the most profound impact on my life? I'm gonna say two people, my mom and dad. My dad usually works outside, but even from distance, he has always taught me to be calm, to allow my logic to dictate my thinking, and all the morals, and to stay strong. But obviously, from distance, as much as he has made an impact, and for which I'm grateful, my mom has obviously had the most impact. She has allowed me to be vulnerable. She's taught me to be empathetic and to be calm, to not confuse honesty for brutality. Therefore, I try to be honest, but in a calm and kind manner. I should not be always blunt, and preferably not blunt almost ever. And most importantly, she has always heard my worries and always pushed me to achieve my dreams. This goes for my dad as well, but both of them have been extremely open and allowed me to fulfill my dreams and raised me with the morals which I think a lot of Gen Z kids miss out on, and they take a lot of things for granted for some reason, which even I can't fathom till date.